to be with Jesus one more day, one more day. I'm just glad to be with Jesus one more day. Yeah, I'm just glad to be with Jesus one more day, one more day. I'm just glad to be with Jesus one more day.
It gives me great joy to welcome you to our wellbeing and mental health program. In today's program, we will hear from Jacqueline Hines, our emotional intelligence coach. She will be sharing on emotional resilience and mental well-being. Sister Sonia Barnes, our naturopathic nutritional therapist, will be sharing on mental ill health through the gateway of the gut. Finally, we will conclude with Sister Davina's cooking demonstration on how to prepare our food to maintain a healthy mind. Let us pray. Dear God, we just want to thank you for today. We want to thank you for this opportunity where we can learn more on how to maintain a healthy mind. Be with us. Inspire us, oh God. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Better day after a while, there will be a better day, a better day, ooh, child. There'll be a better day after a while. Better day after a while. There will be a better day, a better day, ooh, child. There'll be a better day after a while. I'm gonna trade all my troubles here for a lifetime of smile. I'll forget how hard it's been to run these last few miles. And when Jesus says to me, welcome home, my child, and all the bitter heartache here will surely be worth a while. A better day after a while. There will be a better day, a better day, ooh, child. There'll be a better day after a while. I'm gonna trade all my troubles here for a lifetime of smile. I'll forget how hard it's been to run these last few miles. And when Jesus says to me, welcome home, my child, and all the bitter heartache here will surely be worth a while. A better day after a while. There will be a better day. more snow and no more rain, just one clear sunny day. Lord, I pray for the coming of the day when I can fly away. There will be a better day after a while. There will be a better day, a better day. Ooh, child, there'll be a better day. Ooh, child, there'll be a better day. Ooh, child, there'll be a better day after a while.
Hello, and welcome to Maintaining Mental Health and Wellbeing Through Emotional Resilience. My name is Jacqueline A. Hines, and I'm an emotional intelligence coach and leadership consultant. Why not take a walk with me through the slides, where I will give you some hints and tips and insight into emotional resilience and how it plays a big part in you maintaining your mental health and well-being. Before I start any kind of presentation, I like to have a motivation for today. And here's one that I've put together about mental health issues and the impact that it has on individuals. It fractures, it strips away your confidence and the ability to speak out about how you're actually feeling. Putting on a happy face, all the time, or a facade is so tiring. We all know that we have to wear masks, but to wear it all the time wears you down. So what I'm saying is be mindful that not everyone is okay. Even if they say they are, we all go through our trials and tribulations in our everyday lives. Try to be more aware of mental health issues people face and the impact that it can have on their lives. But most of all, be empathetic. Try and walk a mile in their shoes. You never know when you will need the support from others due to mental challenges you may be facing. Okay, so what we're going to look at is the importance of emotional resilience, how emotional intelligence dovetails into this, and then lastly, we'll end on building and maintaining personal resilience. And I'll share with you a model that is widely used. So, the importance of emotional resilience. You've all heard the saying, your mental health is your wealth. Believe me, it is true. It really is. When we look at where we've been, where we are now, and where we're all going, especially under this COVID-19 bubble and the pandemic, your mental health is what needs to be sharpened and honed and intact. Think about some of the things that has happened and how it's impacted on you, your work, and your home life. If we think back a year ago, the first lockdown, I know it kind of took everybody by surprise, me included. Wasn't really prepared for it. I don't think the world was prepared for it and what was happening as a result of it. Then we had the shops running out of things, simple things like, everyday things like rice, flour, couldn't get over the toilet paper saga. Wasn't sure why there was such a lack of it, but hey ho, it happened. So there were a lot of things that was scarce and people were panic buying. But then also the children were off school. That definitely caught me off guard. You know, I thought, oh, it's everybody else. Oh, it's outside of London. But no, it was happening to me. And I had to make sure that my son had a laptop and space that he could do his homework, you know, online. You know, so these are the kind of things that challenged us back then. They're still challenged us now, but it's slightly different. We face more challenges, changes, and restrictions as a result of it. So if you think about it, and I was actually having a conversation, I said, can you believe it? We've been at home in lockdown for a whole year. And it's hard to sort of like put it into real words because we've already gone through it, but we can reflect on it, look at where we've been, all the things that have happened, and how basically the Lord has sustained us to be here today. Not everybody is here. And this is the result of the pandemic and the COVID-19. And many of us have had losses through loved ones, through friends, you know, and acquaintances. And we've not had the chance to really grieve and say goodbye to them. And that has been really, really hard. You know, so being resilient has been at the forefront of everything. So when you think about emotional resilience, what is it? You know, you can see the cogs turning. Well, for me, to truly understand what emotional resilience is, you really have to understand emotional intelligence. And then how does emotional intelligence dovetail into emotional resilience? Well, let's look at it a little bit closer. Emotional intelligence is a set of emotional and social skills that collectively establish how well we can perceive and express ourselves, how we develop and maintain social relationships, how we cope with challenges, but more importantly, how we use emotional information in an effective and meaningful way. Basically, it's a predictor of success in life and work. And that's it in a nutshell, really. Just to put it in simplistic terms, emotional intelligence is understanding your emotions and that of other people. So when you think about a scenario, a situation that has happened, and you think, right, okay, I know I'm not happy about it, then you can sort of think, why am I not happy about it? You can ask yourself that. You think, well, it's made me late, I can't do this, I've had to change that. But when it's somebody else that causes a bit of a challenge for you, when you tap into your emotional intelligence, you can start thinking about, well, you know, we were speaking okay before, can't understand why, you know, so-and-so isn't speaking to me, or they, you know, are ignoring me. And then you think back, and it could be something that you've said, something that is done, or something that you haven't done. You know, we can't speak for other people, we can only speak for ourselves. And when we understand our emotions, we can allow our emotions to work with us as opposed to against us. We can't do that for other people. They have to walk that road themselves. But we can tap into our emotional intelligence and actually understand where the person's coming from by walking a mile in their shoes. And it could be anything, but it's about understanding. And when you understand where the other person's coming from, you won't actually react the way how you're usually expected to. You know, whether it's a retort, whether it's, you know, getting upset and getting angry and shouting out, you can actually use your emotions to work with you as opposed to against you, because you understand the situation a lot more. Okay, so this is an emotional intelligence matrix or a model. And you can see the 4 quadrants there. You've got self-awareness, you've got social awareness, you've got self-management, and you've got social skills. So if I look at the top part, the recognition of who I am, the self-awareness bit, As I mentioned before, it's the ability to recognize and understand your moods and emotions and what drives you and the effect that it has on others. Whereas the social awareness is the ability to understand emotional makeup of other people, and treat them accordingly, you know. So you may tap into your empathy in a situation and be more empathetic towards this individual. Whereas before you'd probably think, oh, they're acting up again, I'm not going to take any notice of it. But it's understanding, as I said before, walking a mile in somebody else's shoes. Then the regulation part is what you do. So the self-management bit. So it's the ability to control or redirect, disruptive impulses, moods, and other judgments that you may have. So think before you act out, and you can sort of like look back, and I'll use the analogy, step outside of your goldfish bowl that you're swimming around in, and actually look in, because that's how you can actually spot a lot of the things that are happening. Whereas when you're in there swimming around, you don't necessarily see it so well because it's up close and personal. And then lastly, it's the social skills. So it's how you manage relationships, build networks, and it's the ability for you to find common ground so that you can move forward progressively in anything that you're actually doing, whether it's a project, whether it's, a relationship, whether it could be anything, whether work, home, or social setting. So, this matrix on the emotional intelligence really looks at your skills around emotional intelligence. Okay, so we've done all of that. We've looked at emotional intelligence. Now we're going to come back to the importance of emotional resilience. So when you think about what is emotional resilience? Well, in a nutshell, it's the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, whether it's trauma, tragedy, threats, or even significant sources of stress. And, we can all attest to that through the lockdown a year ago, and the impact that it's had on us directly and indirectly, and whether it's in the workplace or it could be financial stressors. Basically, emotional resilience means bouncing back from difficult situations. So, how do we build and maintain our personal resilience? What is it that we can do that will help us to move forward more progressively, but also be able to achieve, if not all, but some of what we set out to do? There are 3 areas where we can look at. We can look at SI, or the sensory intelligence, and that's understanding how your senses unconsciously respond to the environment that you're in and impacts how you live, learn, and work. So that's SI. Then we go on to EI, which is the emotional intent. And this is the ability to care about your dominant emotions enough to let your feelings come forth and follow it through. I'll give you a scenario. You could be in a meeting and, everybody's inputting into the meeting, and there's one individual that is talking about something, and you all know that what they're saying is not factual, it's incorrect. But nobody actually says anything. And it could be a leader, it could be anyone. Nobody wants to really hurt their feelings or come out and stop them in mid-sentence. What emotional intent does, you feel so strongly about what is being said or what is being done that you will speak out. So you will act out. So again, I'll go back to the meeting, and then you could go and say, look, excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but what you've actually said is incorrect. It is X, Y, Z. And that is your emotional intent. Your emotions are so heightened because you don't want to take on board, information that isn't correct, and you don't want other people taking it on board. So you act out and your emotional intent kicks in. And then the third one is emotional management. So emotional management is the ability to be aware of and constructively handle both positive and challenging emotions. So again, you're in a scenario where, you know, something's said, something's done, and you feel really strongly about it. Your emotional intent would be to actually jump in and say something or do something. Your emotional management will be thinking, well, you know, Jacqueline, if you jump in and say something or do something, the onus is on you. Everybody's going to blame you if it goes pear-shaped. So you start looking at it, you know, and thinking of ways in which you can deal with the situation and it gets sorted without any real pressure or further challenges emanating from that. So I've just explained to you 3 simple key areas of emotional resilience. And it really is a formula. So if we put SI plus EI plus EM, it equals ER, which is emotional resilience. And then moving on to your emotional resilience, your personal resilience. And here's a model that I mentioned before, where you can look at your personal resilience and how you can capture and garner all of the things that are happening around you and take control of the situation that you're in. And you can see it's sectioned with different colored segments, but there are 3 points to it. On the right, there's a personal control over oneself. And then the bottom left, there's personal control over responses to events. And then the top left, there's personal control over responses to people. So if we look at personal control over oneself, again, it goes back to self-awareness, being aware of how you're feeling in a certain situation, but also coupled with that, there's a determination. So you're in a situation, how are you going to deal with it? Are you determined to see it through, or are you self-reflecting and thinking, you know something, it's going to really challenge me more, so maybe I may step back or go sideways. But then also, to follow on with that, you've got vision. So you can look at the end result of the situation and think, right, okay, this is where I want to get to. You know, I'm aware of what's happening. I'm determined to reach there, but it may take me longer. So you still hold that vision. But then lastly, in that, you've got the self-confidence aspect. So that's you being confident about what is happening around you. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, we know it is. But your self-awareness, you understand. You're still determined and you've got your vision in focus. So you then can start mapping out the things that you can do. So those are the things that are in your control. The things that are outside of your control, you can't do anything about it. And that's your realization kicking in with your personal resilience. So moving on to your personal control over responses to events, you can look at it in a work situation, your organization, and some of the challenges that may have arisen during the pandemic, the first lockdown, to this present day. With your organization, some problem solving. You know, there are issues that may arise. You could be a team leader. You could be a member of staff that's managed by someone who, under the, you know, for want of a better word, isn't coping very well with the lockdown, isn't being able to lead. So how do you solve the problems that are placed upon you through your organization? And this is where your personal resilience, again, will kick in, because there are certain things in the organization you can't control. So you've got to leave it to your manager, who's having a hard time, or maybe not, to deal with the situation and disseminate it to you. Or you may have a quiet word, suggestion, come up with some other solutions and share it with your manager and the rest of the team. And that will feed into your personal resilience, because if you have to do certain things and you're challenged and you can't do it, it's going to impact your daily job. The fact that you're not able to do it is going to have an adverse effect on you as well. And then lastly, going on to personal control over responses to people. And that looks at interaction, how you interact with people or not. Relationships as well. How do you build and maintain relationships? You know, there are some relationships that are challenging, but they still have to have some form of relationship and interaction. So how do you deal with that when situation isn't really good? This is all part and parcel of who you are as an individual. And this is why personal resilience or emotional resilience needs to be coupled with emotional intelligence. Because understanding your emotions, you can better be informed on certain situations that are outside your control. You can understand things from a different perspective, and you can understand things from another person's perspective, and you can deal with things accordingly. And you can also help to steer things away from a potential explosive situation. So personal resilience is like gold dust. And the more you tap into it and emotional intelligence, the more you will sharpen and hone and be able to pick up situations, large or small, medium, long-term, short-term, and deal with them accordingly. Okay, so we go on to COVID-19. I was talking about the pandemic and the lockdown. You know, it's been a roller coaster. And when individuals have asked me, how have you managed to, you know, do business? I said, well, I've just learned to surf the COVID-19 and pandemic waves. I've had no choice, you know, and I want to share this with you. You know, being resilient around all of the things that are outside of your control, it's the ability to problem solve again, to adapt and be flexible to the situation that you're in. You know, your emotional awareness is also heightened. So you're aware of certain things that are happening. Some are in your control, some aren't, and then you deal with them accordingly. Also, developing a can-do attitude and then taking action as a result of that will help you to achieve a balance, you know, equilibrium, and, you know, help your emotional resilience as well, your resilience around the challenges that you face. You know, my mum always used to say, you've got to take bad things and laugh, not because it's funny, but being able to laugh at certain situations helps you to deal with situations that are not pleasant, that are outside of your control as well. So the last one is optimism and a sense of humor. To laugh at life's frustrations. This is outside of our control. It's not just here in the UK, it's global. So no one can turn around and say they've not been affected by it. Everyone has been affected by it in some way, shape, or form. So being resilient around the further restrictions and things are easing up at the moment, but you know, what is the new normal going to look like? We don't know. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we have to live for today. And we have to maintain who we are. Our emotional health and well-being is important. You know, if your parents, grandparents, friends, sisters, you know, your loved ones, they need your full faculties. Your children need your full faculties. You need your full faculties. And it's important to understand that the things that you go through, you need to have some me time for you. And we'll get onto that in a little bit. But it's important. So, top tips on looking after your mental health and well-being. It says, eat, move, sleep. Always eat a healthy breakfast. It's important. I must admit, work has been challenging over the past couple of months, and I've just about managed to have a hot drink. And then when I've eaten afterwards, and it could be 3-4 hours later, I'm looking at anything and everything, and that's not good. So I try to get up early enough to have a decent breakfast, so that will carry me through. Next bit is take regular exercise. You know, I had a conversation with my daughter about this. I said, boy, we've been sitting down, you know, on our bottoms for a year. You know, you get up and you do walking, you go shopping, doing little bits and pieces. We used to go for walks. And, you know, due to the challenges that we face within our respective roles, we can't do that anymore. but taking regular exercises is really, really important. And the second lockdown, we were all set. I was going to go and do some swimming, get some all over body exercise. You know, I'm not a proficient swimmer, but I can do a mean doggy paddle. So I was prepared to do all of that. And my daughter was going to go to the gym. And then lo and behold, lockdown. So everything was shut. So what we're trying to do is do some form of exercise, hoovering up the stairs, doing something, going for a walk around the block, just to get the body moving, you know. And as I said, now things are easing up. You can go to the gym when it opens up, ride a bike or go for walks. It's important, even though it's cold outside and it's windy, and in some cases it's snowed and it's raining, you know, to get that wind blowing through your hair and blow away the cobwebs. It's good to go out and get a bit of fresh air. And I'll tell you this, you know, when I realized that I really did need to do a little bit more was when I nipped out to the shops. I just went out to get a few things from the supermarket, and I was mortified when I looked at my watch. I had been in the shop for nearly 2.5 hours. And I was just taking my time walking around. I was getting my exercise. And, you know, it wasn't a conscious thing, because I just thought, right, I'll nip in, get a few things, half an hour, you know, that length of time, I obviously needed it. So whatever it takes, get your body moving. And then I'm going to go on to sleep. So ban all forms of devices from your bedroom. That includes phones, tablets, and TVs. Get your full sleep in. It's not easy, I know. We didn't have a TV in our bedroom, and it was bliss. It really, really was. I would go up to bed and I would close my eyes and I would fall asleep. And the alarm would wake me up, and I just felt a lot more refreshed. And then my husband decided that he wanted to TV in the bedroom. It was his TV, he put it up. And it took a lot longer for me to actually drop off to sleep, because you'd hear something and then you'd sort of like peer over and look, and it's like, oh, that looks interesting. And then you get sucked into it. So you don't actually fall asleep when you were intending to. So try and do that if you can. It makes a world of difference. Number 2, get organized and socialize. You know, with the lockdown restrictions, you know, easing up, take full advantage of socializing, socially distanced, of course. You know, I'm sure we're all zoomed out doing virtual catch-ups or WhatsApp and other modes of communication. You know, make sure you organize well and make this happen, because, you know, just meeting up with friends and family and having a hug, you know, is what we're all missing, you know. And I know that everybody will, you know, be kind of cautious and wary of it, but in the same sense, we need to sort of like socialize. We're social creatures, or most of us are. There's some that are quite happy to be in their own company, you know, and that's down to them. But, you know, with all of this that's going on, we long to be together again, whether it's church, whether it's, you know, at work, whether it's in social setting, just to fellowship, just to sort of like make contact again. You know, can't wait. Number 3, attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is like fertilizer for happiness. Look at situations that arise as lessons to be learned, no matter how it transpires. Look at things that are within your control and work upwards from there. You know, even if things are not happening the way you expect them, or don't turn out the way you expected, you know, I can only speak for myself, but I just think, well, Lord, what's the lesson in this for me? You know, I don't get upset over things that are outside of my control anymore, where it could be frustrating, but I move on. And, you know, I'm grateful, gratitude. I'm grateful for the mercies that the Lord has shown me, because, you know, having my own business has not been easy. There are some colleagues of mine, some friends of mine, whose businesses have decided they can't carry on, and they've decided to take on full-time roles because of the impact that COVID-19 has had on them and their business. And my prayer was, Lord, if you can feed the birds, you're going to feed me. And to be quite honest, I haven't seen any skinny birds flying around the place. So I'm grateful for that. They've been fed and they're healthy and they're chirping. And, you know, by God's grace, I'm still working and doing things to the best of my ability. So my attitude of gratitude is abounding. Number 4, be bold and inspire others. Share your gifts, and we've all got many gifts. You know, you've got gifts that other people don't have. That's great. You know, not everyone can get to where you are in your, you know, working life, your home life, your situation, you know, or be as confident and competent as you. They can certainly feel empowered with your support to help them to define and work on themselves. So be bold and inspire others where you can. It won't take anything away from you, but it will certainly give somebody else something as a gift. And number 5, take time for reflection. Take those regular temperature checks to reflect on where you've been, where you currently are. And it's an opportunity for you to double check where you're heading to. You don't want to stray from your pathway, your goal, or your aspiration. So these are my top tips. You know, use them, take them on board, adapt them, apply them to yourselves. I don't know your journey and I can't take it for you, but you know, what I'm sharing with you may help you in whatever you do. Happy to share. What I wanted to share with you as well is about the storms of life. And this was something that I love doing, like my little motivation for today. And I get inspired by talking to people, certain things that happen, I get inspired to create something. And I was looking into something and I thought about when the storms of life are raging around you and you feel the need for respite from the storm's dark swell. You know, and I saw something about the eagle. And I thought, yes, I want to be like the eagle. Unlike other birds who seek shelter, the eagle soars high above the stormy clouds. And that is where you find your peace. Because you know that when you go through the clouds, there's no rain up there. If you think about when you're on an airplane and it takes off and you think, oh, it's all cloudy, it's raining. As soon as the airplane breaks through the clouds, it's almost as if you're in a different world because the clouds are underneath you, they're fluffy, and there's sunlight up there, and it's beautiful. So that's what I wanted to share with you, you know, before I conclude. And what I wanted to say finally was, be the best that you can possibly be in all things that you do. No matter big or small, your emotional resilience is something that you will work on time and time again to help you in your situation, your working life, your church life, your home life, and your social life. My prayer is that we will take these nuggets of knowledge, we will imbibe them, we will work on them to apply them to ourselves. We'll be the best that we can be and build our emotional resilience, not only for now, but moving forwards. That's my prayer. Thank you for listening.
Yes, happy Sabbath, everyone. My name's Adam Best, and today I'm going to be playing for you guys a hymn entitled The Saviour is Waiting. I pray that you guys are blessed.
Hello and welcome. We often have the belief that how we feel, our emotions, are all in our brain. It all happens up here. Feeling sad, feeling happy, fatigued, low mood, some diagnosis, some mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, all happens up here. In this session, we will be exploring whether gut health has any impact on mental health and well-being, mental health, mental illnesses, and what I like to talk about also, brain health. Mental health has had a stigma over many, many years. And there has been a lot of researches, a lot of awareness in the public eye, in the media, to tackle that stigma. Because we all have mental health. We have mental illness at some point of our lives, as you will see in my presentation. So let us explore how gut health impacts mental health, brain health, and how gut health have an impact on our emotions. Let me just share my screen with you. My name is Sonia Barnes-Locker, and I want to talk to you about mental health, or what I like to say, brain health, because there's been a lot of stigma about mental health. And because of that, we all face mental ill health throughout our lives, but don't really want to talk about that because it just sounds so negative. So I like talking about brain health. But how does brain health or mental ill health has got to do with gut health? So gut health, the gateway to mental well-being or brain health. During this presentation, we'll be defining mental health and mental ill health because there's a difference. We'll also look at the mental health continuum, but also what does brain health, mental health, and gut, what is the link? Where is the link? Is there a link? But also look at some key mental health improvements. World Health Organization defining mental health and mental ill health. So mental health, it says mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities and cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to contribute to his or her own community. When things go a bit different, when we start experiencing ill health, the definition from World Health Organization says ill health, mental illnesses are health conditions involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior, or a combination of these. Mental illnesses are associated with distress and problems functioning in social, work, and family activities. The definition of mental health, according to Dr. Lynn Fredelli in 2004, she coined the abbreviation, she coined the definition. Mental health influences how we think and feel in ourselves and others, and how we interpret events. It affects our capacity to learn, to communicate, and to form, sustain, and to end a relationship. It also influences our ability to cope with change, transition, and life events, such as having a baby, moving to a new house, and even experiencing bereavement. We all have been faced with the pandemic. We've been experiencing the pandemic. How are you coping with this? I'm sure you have coping mechanisms that you've used over the past year. Because the statistics in the UK says 1 in 4 will experience mental health problems. 3 million people are diagnosed in the UK, and mental health problems are the largest single source of burden to the UK. Women are more likely to have been treated for mental health problem than men. And mixed anxiety and depression is the most common mental health disorder in the UK or in Britain. 70 million days are lost from work each year due to mental health and mental ill health. The mental health continuum model talks about healthy, reacting, injured, or ill. And now this says that you and I can, at some point in our lives, go through the various 4 stages. We feel normal fluctuation in moods, taking things in our stride, still have a good humor, faced with difficult situations, but have resilience to bounce back, have resilience to deal with the situation. Or sometimes it gets a little bit more intense, and so we're reacting to our environment, reacting to what's going on around us. And so we may have tension, headaches, muscle tension, trouble sleeping, forgetfulness, procrastination are some of the things that we will experience. But then that goes on to an extent where the anxiety become a bit more excessive. There's more panic attacks episodes, difficulty to concentrate, develop sleep apnea because sleep is not sleeping at night, constant fatigue, illness, to a point where we're now not functioning very well in our community or functioning with our family and friends. And of course, then we are diagnosed with either anxiety, depression, or some other ill health illnesses, other health problems, other mental health problems. But this is to show us that we all can go through the various stages at some point in our lives. The pen of inspiration says the stomach has a controlling power upon the health of the entire body. Controlling power upon the health of the entire body. Sherry Rogers, the author of Detoxify or Die, she coined this quote: "The road to health is paved with good intestines." Not good intentions, good intestines. The father of medicine, or say earthly father of medicine, says all disease starts in the gut. So as you can see, all 3 quotes, and there are many, many more quotes, but all 3 quotes are actually talking about, has a common theme, and the common theme is the gut, the intestines, the stomach, talking about the gastrointestinal tract. So mental health, brain health, what has got to do with it? What has got, G-U-T, got to do with it? What has got to do with it? The gastrointestinal tract, as we see on the screen, runs from the mouth to the bottom. And each stage of the tract has a role to play. So when we take food into our mouth, of course, it's been digested. And of course, then the small intestines will absorb and assimilate the good foods that we eat on a daily basis. And of course, the waste will be excreted from the body. The waste will be excreted. So of course, we know of the gastrointestinal tract. So what has that got to do with mental health, or as I say, brain health, as I prefer to call it. The gut is an organ, so is the brain. Two different systems, but there's a connection between two. And this goes back to the 18th century and beyond, because we know we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. But the studies and the research goes all the way back to the 18th century, where they've made the connection that the gut and the brain, there is a strong, intimate connection with both systems. How are they connected? They are connected via the vagus nerves, blood circulation, of course. But the vagus nerves is one of the largest nerves in the body. And of course, the gut and the brain is connected. I'm sure you can familiarize yourself with this, or you probably jog your memory by saying, you feel butterflies in your stomach. You haven't seen a loved one for a long time. You're anticipating what you'll be doing. You know, you've been locked down, the pandemic, but you're probably looking forward to a holiday away. And that butterfly feeling, that happy feeling that you feel, the brain sends signals down to the gut. The brain can affect the gut. You're preparing for a presentation, to deliver a presentation, also to, applying for a job. And that nervy feeling that you get just before you have to perform or to attend the interview, you feel that in your gut. I'm sure you probably can relate to your grandparents or your mother saying, I need to make a decision and I think I know what to do because I can feel it in my gut. I know exactly what to do because the brain is talking to the gut. There is a bidirectional flow going up and coming down. When we eat our food, there are receptors in the gut that signals to the brain, I'm full, I'm satisfied. I had a lovely meal, a lovely lunch, lovely breakfast, and I'm full. I'm not able to eat anymore. Or I often hear people say, I'm not even to take, not even a message more because my stomach is full. The gut is signaling to the brain that I'm satisfied. The gut, the digestive tract that we just talked about, that runs from the mouth all the way to the bottom, has an impact on mental health, brain health. You see, neurotransmitters, what we refer to as serotonin, dopamine, gamma, butyric acid, is all that keeps us calm, makes us feel happy. The reward system, 60 to 90% is in the gut, is formed in the gut. But how are they formed? How is that even possible? Because we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Our body is unique. And your gut flora, or what's otherwise known as microflora and microbes, they'll be very different to someone else, to your sibling or to a friend. Because when we're born, we get our microbiome from our mother as we go through the birth canal, as we are born. And of course, that gets developed over the years. So when we are feeling low mood, feeling sad, not having the motivation to do something, procrastinating, just as we looked at the mental health continuum earlier, the model that we can float through the various stages at different times of our life. Because a lot of that happens in the gut. The gut is responsible for that. The microbiome is an army on the inside, trillions of microbes breaking down as fungi, bacteria, viruses, that lives on the inside of us. And they help to break our foods down. They help to assimilate our food and also helps excretion of the excess, the waste. They are also responsible and they do help our immune system. Now we have been told and we learned from recent studies that 80 to 90% of the immune system is in the gut. So our gut flora, intestinal flora, can either be beneficial to us or harmful to us. I mentioned earlier that they help to break down our food. So when you take your vitamin B, your B vitamins, and your K vitamins, or the absorption of your calcium or iron, those gut flora helps with the absorption. Dr. K. Brown in 2009, he did a survey with his patients, and what he discovered was that his patients who were obese, they had a very different microbiota than the person who was of normal weight. He also did a research on linking autism with decreased gut bacterial diversity. So there's an army, there are thousands of microbes that live on the inside of us that are responsible for how we think, our moods, whether we're happy or we're sad. So you might be thinking, well, how I feel depends on my brain, how my brain works. But the gut has a key role to play in that, because the neurotransmitters, up to 90% of that is in the gut health. When things go wrong with our gut, and when things go wrong, we have inflammation. For the purpose of this talk, inflammation can be anywhere in the body. You have knee pains, back pain, but inflammation in the gut is referred to as leaky gut. And I'll explain this. Leaky gut is very similar to you making your plant-based milk, and you blend your almonds in water and you blend, but you need to then get the liquid from the solids. So you get your strainer or your cheesecloth to separate the liquid from the solids. Now there are tiny little holes to let the liquid through and to leave the solids behind. Equally the same that's happening in the gut. The digestive tract has a very thin lining. And when we eat foods that stays long in the gut, because of could be constipation, which is also inflammation in the gut, constipation or diarrhea, or it could be irritable bowel disease, it could be Crohn's disease or celiac colitis disease or conditions. All those things are leading or point to the fact that there is leaky gut, because what's that's happening now is that the proteins that we eat from when we eat the foods, they are seeping into the bloodstream. When they seep into the bloodstream, they indicate and excite the immune system. So they come running in to out the fire, to get rid of those pathogens or chemicals that are not supposed to be in the bloodstream at that time. So leaky gut, and as we established earlier, what happens in the gut equally has an impact on the brain. Leaky gut equals leaky brain. Information chemicals going up through the vagus nerve and through the blood circulation to the brain. And so sometimes you have maybe migraines, or you have mental ill health disorders, because the gut is not working at its best. Things are going wrong in the gut. This chart here just shows a little bit more about inflammation. Inflammation is fire to the body, causes autoimmune diseases. So it could be lupus, obesity, diabetes, thyroidism, all comes under the umbrella of autoimmune. But when there's leaky gut, there is a greater chance of being diagnosed with these diseases. See, leaky gut will also increase the risk of LPS, enterotoxins, so lipopolysaccharides, which is a negative towards gut health. And when that happens, it actually goes all the way to the brain. So leaky gut is a negative towards gut health, and equally to mental health and well-being. The microbiome, as we discussed earlier, is the missing link from gut health, and it should be the focus for mental health. Gut health is the key in how the brain functions. Nutrition, then. Improving mental health, we need nutrition, good nutrition. Because how else are we going to feed the microbes in our gut? What do they eat? As the terminology, the phrase that goes, what you eat, you become. What you eat makes you as a person. You are what you eat. But I also go a step further. You are what you eat, but also what you absorb. And those microbes, as I mentioned before, they help you to assimilate your foods, absorb the nutrients of your food. So how do we feed the microbes in our gut for better health, better mental health, better brain health? You see, nutrition has been overlooked for many, many years because the view and the thought was mental illness all starts in the brain, and it's only the brain. Look towards the brain. Dementia, schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, low moods, panic attacks, all happens in the brain. But as we established from this talk, that the gut has a lot to do with it. So how are we feeding our microbiome or microbiota, the army that lives on the inside? Probiotics in the form of supplements or foods. And here are just some of the strains, bacterial strains that lives on the inside. But I also hasten to say that there's a bacteria that's called Akkermansia. And Akkermansia bacteria, the studies have shown that obesity shows that there is downregulated or there ain't enough of Akkermansia in the gut. And hence why someone will be diagnosed with obesity. I mean, obesity can be for other reasons too, but there is a strong evidence to show that when Akkermansia is missing from the gut flora, the person will tend to put on weight. So you're eating the same foods as your sibling, but somehow they can get away with eating the ice creams or the biscuit or the chocolate, and you just have to have a look at it and you gain weight. Prebiotics. Prebiotics are things like your garlic, your onions, your leeks, your mushrooms, your asparagus, and thus these are giving you a sample of prebiotics. Now the microbes on the inside, they flourish. They want prebiotics. That's the food that they want to eat. So when you eat a wide range of fruits and vegetables, you are doing yourself a world of good by feeding the microbes on the inside. When we have a plant-based, a diversity of fruits and vegetables, we then get our oligosaccharides. And our gut microbes love oligosaccharides. Fructooligosaccharides, you will get, so when you eat your fruits, so for example, your kiwi fruit, the fleshy part of the kiwi fruit is that you get your fiber from that. And our microbes gravitate to such foods. The xylooligosaccharides also from eating the inner part of the corn of the cob, the inner part of the corn, you get the xylooligosaccharides from that. So this is just to give you an example or to share that by eating a wide range of fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, to get your good carbohydrates, fats, your antioxidants from your foods, your phytonutrients, but by eating a wide range helps to cover all the various needs of the microbes on the inside. So when you feed them, you're actually feeding yourself, but you're feeding your brain and for better mental health and well-being. Eating your beans and your legumes, lots of fiber. And our microbes, they thrive on fiber. And there are some fiber where the body not able to break down those fibers, but by the microbiome, the microbes that are on the inside, they can then break those fibers down so we can have the best benefits from those fibers. When we have our blueberries, antioxidants, we strengthen our microbiome, we strengthen our gut health, but also that then leads to better functioning of the various other organs in the body. I just like to share that when you have a expensive car, you put a good fuel in the car for it to function well, the water, the oil. Equally, our body, our temple unto God. So what we put on the inside will help us to flourish. When we eat foods that are processed, high in sugar, high in sugar and dairy foods as well, they are what I say, they are negative foods for the body. But just bearing in mind with this talk, by feeding the gut with all the nutrients dense variety, or I say diversity plant-based diet, you are then feeding all the microbes in the gut. They are well taken care of in order to take care of us and just remind us that what we eat is who we are. We are what we eat, what we absorb. So I'll just share now some more nutrients that we need to take in on a daily basis, not just to feed our gut, but also our brain and our health, our brain health and mental health. B vitamins, and I'll make special mention of vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is a cofactor for tryptophan. Tryptophan is an amino acid that helps to make serotonin. Now, serotonin, the feel-good hormone, the hormone that also is responsible for our circadian rhythm when we need to go to sleep and when we wake up. But if there's B6 is in lack, then of course, how are we then going to feel good about ourselves or mood? So our B6 foods, leafy green vegetables or almonds, all helps to give us vitamin B6 to help with how we feel about ourselves. Next, I just want to share with you turmeric. And the yellow color in the turmeric, that compound is called curcumin. It's an anti-inflammatory product. One that's very hard to absorb in the body. And so I then always suggest that there's lots of studies out there on curcumin and turmeric that we need to incorporate that on a daily basis in our diet. So how do we use curcumin? How do we use turmeric? Sprinkle on our foods, on our salads. But also for easy and better absorption, we need heat, not necessarily heat as in hot, heat as in heat, but heat as in pepper. And the preferred pepper that I will say is cayenne pepper. You use cayenne pepper with turmeric for easy and better absorption in the body. As I said before, it's anti-inflammatory. So when we have gut health, when we have IBS, so any inflammation in the gut, so IBS or constipation or diarrhea or bloating or reflux, turmeric will help to get rid of those because those seen as inflammatory, and turmeric is an anti-inflammatory, but also an antioxidant, so really useful for our cells. Next, we have magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral from a family of 102 that's useful for the body. But magnesium ranks as the fourth abundant mineral in the body, easily achieved from our foods, as you can see from my chart here. However, magnesium is easily used up once we are stressed. Acute stress and chronic stress, but magnesium is quickly used up in the body. So we then need to incorporate magnesium in our diet on a daily basis. I will say this, that if we are then experiencing gut ill health, so bloating or difficulty absorbing our food, so malabsorption, then we can also benefit from magnesium by using it topically, transdermal, where we use magnesium salts, so we have an Epsom salt baths, or use magnesium oil on our skin, on our joints, because it helps to relax the body as well. Also, gel or a supplement. And magnesium has a whole range of different supplements. So it depends on what it is that you're facing, your moods, want to boost your moods. Then magnesium glycinate, magnesium L-threonate are really good source of magnesium supplements to go for. But magnesium, the studies have shown that it has a direct impact and will boost mental health. So if you're diagnosed with a mental disorder, we want to ensure that we have magnesium in our diet on a daily basis. Next up, we have zinc. Zinc is also a mineral, but where we are exposed to a lot of toxins in today's world, our homes may be toxic. It could be that we're using toxins on our skin or personal body products. Could be we're open to having a copper pipe where our water comes through. Copper and magnesium and copper and zinc they compete with each other. Copper and zinc compete with each other. And so there'll be an abundance of copper instead of zinc. But zinc is responsible for the neurotransmitters in our body. Zinc helps to build or to make the neurotransmitters. So we're talking again, or dopamine, or serotonin, or GABA. Calming, feeling happy, rewarding. Zinc is crucial. We get our zinc from our nuts and our seeds, and I'll make mention of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds that we can sprinkle on our salads. We can actually make a smoothie from them as well, but to ensure that we have enough zinc in our diet on a daily basis. Last but not least, our omega-3 fatty acids. We get them from our lovely avocados, or nuts, walnuts, olive oil, or the fruit. Ensure that we have this because omega-3 fatty acids help to boost memory, to ward off stresses, sadness, and of course helps with memory and concentration. It wards off depression. Omega-3 fatty acids, incorporate them in your diet on a daily basis because they help with our mental health and help to ward off mental ill health. It boosts our brain to have better brain health. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is now having a time of its life. Vitamin D is talked about so much. And where we're living in the UK, where the sun comes out usually between April to maybe September, you want to ensure that you are taking a vitamin D supplement, vitamin D3 supplement, and a good source. And I want to say that we spoke about magnesium as one of the key nutrients for a daily diet. When you take your vitamin D3, you want to ensure that you're taking magnesium at the same time. There has been compelling studies and research done that both are cofactors for each other. They work with each other. But I would say that vitamin D needs magnesium more for it to be absorbed in the body, for it to be converted in the body for use. At every junction in the body, vitamin D needs magnesium. Every cell in the body needs vitamin D. And that's why it's so crucial to have vitamin D supplements taken on a daily basis. You would have heard of in the media, especially with COVID-19, that individuals who were suffering the illness, that they were low in vitamin D. So I'm also recommending that to ensure that you're taking a supplement on a daily basis. So as we can see, that strong brain health needs a good gut health. And a good gut health needs a good diet to maintain both. Maintain gut and brain health via the foods that we eat. God has given us the foods that we need to sustain our body. And in addition to food, we know we need good sleep, water, exercise for good gut health, and also good brain and better mental health. So in closing, good gut health is one gateway to better brain health. Better brain health, we're able to feel good about ourselves, can function in our community, can be better people for ourselves and for our family. So thank you for listening. And I hope you find some benefits from this.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. And welcome to another session from the Natural Remedies Kitchen. And today I'm in the kitchen with my colleague, Juliet Miller, who I am here in Jamaica, and my colleague Juliet is in the Virgin Islands. And we thank the Lord for the blessings of technology so we could be together on the virtual roof. Welcome, Juliet, to another session of the Natural Remedies Kitchen and Cooking Show.
Thank you so much.
All right, lovely. I can see you've got some lovely greens on your table there, and we'll just talk about them today. What have you got on your table and some of the health benefits of these ingredients? So tell us, what's that bundle of bush you've got right there?
Okay, this first bundle of bush is cilantro. Smells beautiful.
Oh, wow. So cilantro is very rich in vitamin A, as far as I'm aware. It's also rich in some essential minerals. And when I say essential, what I actually means is that minerals that you actually need to get from your food and not from a bottle of supplement. Is that right?
Yes, amen.
Exactly, yeah. So, super powerful in vitamin A, rich in antioxidants, and very good with a combination of other ingredients to remove heavy metals from the body. It is well used in the chelation pesto, which is like a detoxing pesto. Have you used that pesto before?
Yes, I've used it many times. Absolutely delicious. So I often come into the kitchen and make this and use it on my salads, on my sandwiches, on basically everything. So those are going to be some of the things we are going to demonstrate to you today, how you can take something that's medicinal and make it absolutely delicious. In fact, you'll want to eat it all the time on your meals. But yes, so we'll look at that as we go along through the afternoon.
All right, brilliant. What else have you got there on your table?
I have a bundle of parsley.
Ooh, another powerful antioxidant. And I keep using the word antioxidants. What exactly are antioxidants?
Well, antioxidants are basically, they fight the free radicals. So in our bodies, we come into contact with environmental toxins. Our body comes into toxins what we put onto our skin. And so these greens are what fights those antioxidants.
Free radicals.
Are fighters, yes.
All right. I heard a colleague once sort of describe free radicals like when a zinc gets rusty. It's the rust on the zinc. So the antioxidant would be the thing now that clears off the rust from the zinc to make it brand new again. So for those who may struggle and wonder what is free radicals, what is antioxidants, I think that's a nice little explanation. Yeah, so the ordinary person can who's not a scientific person can understand basically what it is. So it's like antioxidants clean up the rusty nail and make it a new nail again.
And the children in the classroom, I say the antioxidants, they're the ones that do all the fighting. And they're the ones, the protection. So they're the ones that are like the army force. So yes, just think of them as they're your protectors, your antioxidants.
All right, fantastic. Tell me, what else have you got on your table? I can see a little bowl with nuts.
Some Brazil nuts.
Those are like some giant sized nuts. Could you pick one up for me, please, and just hold
Sure.
it? Wow. Now look, that's a massive nut. It's larger than normal. You know,
These are
how much of
wonderful
those
because
are recommended as a daily use or as a part for a daily recommended allowance?
well, it says you only actually need 1 or 2 per day because they're filled with selenium.
Ah, and what do we use selenium for? How does the body really, how does the body benefit from selenium? I mean, it
Well, I
benefits in a
know
number
for
of ways, I
me,
believe.
the selenium is very good. I have low thyroid, and the selenium is supposed to support the thyroid and also help to support your sleep.
Yes, yes. It is also considered like the body's sleeping tablet.
Mhm.
Right. And you know what else it is good for? It's actually good for the brain. It's good for the memory, and it's also, it's like, I've heard one naturopathic doctor, he said this is like the cement for the bones.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's good for the bone health, which is really protective for, it's really protective for the brain. And it helps us with our sleep, it helps with our memory, and it supports the thyroid. So this is a nut that you really want to have in your cupboard. And if you only need 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day, then you can see why it is so large. It is already filled with everything else that you need. That's why you only need 1 or 2 is a serving. All right, what else have you got there?
We have some pumpkin seeds, 1/3 of a cup of pumpkin seeds.
Ah, a third of a cup of pumpkin seeds. All right, excellent. So I know for sure that pumpkin seeds is rich in zinc. Yes, and
Absolutely.
magnesium, and calcium, and phosphorus. And I know it is super healthy for the brain, as well as, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret afterwards about the pumpkin seed. And I know for all those who have husband and all those men who are listening, it's really good for men's sexual health. So tell nobody that I said that, but the ladies know now what to give their husbands. All right. But it is really good for the brain. It's a powerful food for the brain. It's also rich in essential omega fatty acids, your omega-3, omega-6, omega-9s. So it's a brain food. Yeah. So what else have you got there on your brain? On your, not on your brain, but on your table.
1/3 of a cup of sunflower seeds.
I guess you also have it on your brain, don't you?
I have that for my brain. So 1/3 of a cup, sunflower seeds.
Sunflower, that's another very potent antioxidant, also rich in minerals and nutrients. That is and in terms of flavor, it's also has a very mild flavor, and it works very well to combine with other seeds and vegetables. Can make really nice dishes. Flavor is very subtle. Yeah.
Now, this one, everyone knows this. This is the wonderful garlic. And I have 3 garlic. That's what I've got 4 in here, but I'm going to add 3 garlic, 4 pieces of garlic to this dish.
Okay.
Tell
All
us
right.
about the garlic.
Listen. So the garlic is from what we call the allium family, right? And that's with the ginger and the onion as well, from the same family, and the turmeric from the same sort of breed of people, so to speak. They are really rich. Talking about antioxidants, those are like super foods. Very powerful, right? They boost the immune system. They are anti-inflammatory. They're antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal. So what you've got there is really good. And combined with some of the ingredients that I see you've got there, together they can make a really good detoxing pesto, right? That actually helps to remove heavy metals from the body. So tell me what else you've got.
I have 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, squeezed directly from the real lemon, not no artificial thing, the real lemon. 4
Pure
tablespoons.
and natural, no additives, no coloring, no flavorings. Wonderful. So straight from the tree to the jug.
Right. And
Yeah.
of course, that is high in that's vitamin C.
Rich in vitamin C, a high antioxidant as well. Very good on the chart. Very nutritious. Also helps to bring alkalinity to the body and helps to remove toxins from the body. Also, lemons actually aid in digestion. So there we go. Yeah. And
And
it's
then
gonna make the recipe very flavorful. It does add a zing and a kick that you don't get from anything else. You can't beat lemon in terms of flavor. What else have we got there?
dulse powder, dulse granules.
And what exactly is dulse? Because I've heard people asking, what is that? It's not a very common thing. You don't see that on your regular shop shelves, do you?
So here it says dulse is an excellent source of iron. And so basically dulse is a seaweed.
It is a seaweed, indeed it is. It is. So, and it is actually very tasty and combined with the other ingredients, and it does help to remove heavy metals on its own, but when combined with these other ingredients like the cilantro, the parsley, the selenium, the Brazil nuts, the sunflower seeds, and the pumpkin seeds, you're looking at a powerful combination there. Go ahead, what else have we got?
And then on the final recipe, we have some flax oil.
Some flax oil, and again, we know the flax oil is our omegas, fatty acids are really rich in that. And by the way, the sunflower seed is also rich in cysteine, and these things, they just help the cells to rebuild the body cells. They help to remove toxins from the body. So, and these are just some fantastic ingredients you've got here. So let me just go over the ingredients for the purpose of our listeners. We've got 4 cloves of garlic, a third cup of Brazil nuts, which is rich in selenium. We've got a third cup of sunflower seeds, rich in cysteine. We've got a third cup of pumpkin seeds, rich in zinc and magnesium and other minerals. And we've got 2 cups of packed fresh coriander, also called Chinese parsley, and cilantro. And we've also got a third cup of parsley, which is rich in vitamin A. We've got 2/3 cups of flaxseed oils, 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of dulse powder, and we want to add a little bit of sea salt or pink Himalayan salt or Celtic salt. Pink Himalayan. So we've got pink Himalayan today, and we know that has like over 80 something minerals in them. So it's quite a nutrient dense combination you've got here. Normally, there's under no normal circumstances where you're gonna take a full third what you call it now, a full pack cup of coriander. No, not under normal circumstances. So it's gotta be for some medicinal purposes to get you to do that. But let's see, this that we're gonna make here today for our audience is called a chelation pesto, and we give credit to Dr. Sharps for this recipe. And while we have turned things up a notch, because we do add as well some basil or fresh mint to really improve the flavor. Yes, it's when I say it tastes good, it tastes good. And this is very versatile. You could use it in so many dishes. But since you're preparing it, is there any, all right, let me let you go ahead, because this is the important part now, to see what this comes out like and what it can go with. So start doing your thing and let's see.
Okay, so we're going to then put in 2 cups of cilantro. So in my magic bullet, it's great. I'm packing in the 2 cups, and I've just added the cilantro, and I've added now the parsley. I've washed them all already, and so that's my cup full, because it tells you where to go in terms of the line. All right.
Okay. And
So
you're
now
using a NutriBullet.
I'm using my NutriBullet. To
Okay.
that, I'm going to add now my nuts, my 1/3 of a cup of the Brazil nuts. I'm also going to add, so now we're just pouring everything in. My 4 pieces of garlic.
Yeah.
My sunflower seeds. for the assisting, and also my pumpkin seeds, 1/3 of a cup of pumpkin seeds. So it's quite easy once it's all laid out. So I'm pushing it down a little bit to give me a little bit more space. I'm also going to now add in the doll's powder. So we want 2 tablespoons of the doll's powder. And additionally, we're going to add in the sea salt.
Yeah.
Just I've called this 1/4 of a teaspoon. And
if you wanted to add a little bit more salt, you could, couldn't you?
Sure can. And I add in a little bit of the little hot pepper, but it's not
cayenne.
What we call this cayenne pepper, but it's not the cayenne that you get in the shop that irritates the system. This is the real stuff. Okay?
Medicinal cayenne.
Good. All right. So I've added that. So it looks like, just check my table, got everything in. So finally, I just need now
Just want to add a little interjection there. So sometimes in the shop, especially certain shops, you may get chili and they may tell you that this is cayenne. But, you know, you've got to ask for proper cayenne, because a shop, you know, they may not know the benefits and the difference between the chili pepper and the cayenne pepper. The cayenne pepper that we're looking for is a medicinal cayenne pepper. You probably want to get this at your health food store rather than your little corner shop, which will probably be selling you chili pepper for cayenne pepper. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I actually from a herbalist, and so just when you look online, look for those, and you'll see that it goes up in hues. It's called. So that's the heat, and they're the ones that you want. Those ones that are not the ones you get from the corner shop, but the ones that are medicinal. And you'll see that there's so many hues. All right. So now I'm going to do 2/3 of a cup of the flaxseed oil. What did you say the flaxseed oil was good for?
Oh, it's rich in omegas, the fatty acids, and it is super good for the brain health. So we need our omegas for our brain to function effectively, to keep the memory intact, to keep our brain cells intact, keep us functioning effectively.
Okay, and then finally the lemon. I'm pouring the lemon in. I noticed that everything that is crunchy is at the top, and everything the leaves are at the bottom, and that will also help to blend easily. All right, so that's everything in. Now this is the easy part. We're just going to blend. I'm a fabulous cook. Look, I don't need to even use the stove. I'm going to blend. You'll have to move it around. Open it up. As you start to blend, you'll see that it blends at the front, and then just use your spoon just to stir it around, and then you can start again. It'll take a couple of trials.
So, you know, for example, in my country, I don't get parsley and cilantro that easily. But you know what I use instead? I can use things like callaloo, because that is also very rich in vitamin A, also very rich in iron. And when combined with my lemon from my vitamin C, my body is absorbing everything from them. And I can use my spring onion as well, or scallion, because that's what we call it here in my country. But we can get a lot of that, so I use them. Other places may want to use kale or their black cabbage. These are also very rich in vitamin A, very rich in some of the very same minerals as the parsley and the cilantro. So they can be substituted. And if you do have them, they can also be added to the recipe.
Okay, I'm going to try again. So don't be afraid, it's okay. It takes a little bit of moving around.
A little bit of work.
A little bit of work, but it will get there.
So the benefits, though, is worth it. Chilation pesto.
Absolutely. The taste is dynamic. and the benefits is 100%. So it's worth it. Now,
Exactly.
I didn't in this put in my favorite things because I have a little bit of mint. What was mint good for?
Oh, so mint is like, it really helps you to relax. It really helps you to relax, so it helps with spasms and it helps you to sleep well, and it also aids in digestion. And for ladies suffering from things like PCOS, it's always brilliant to have mint on a very regular basis because it really does help. So we're looking at the coriander, or cilantro, or Chinese parsley as it is also known, has actually been proven to remove toxins and heavy metals from our bodies in a relatively short period of time. Right. And it is said that when it is combined with the benefits of the other ingredients that we've got on the table here, the recipe makes a very powerful tissue cleanser. So what you need to have, how much of this lovely pesto do you need to have daily to reap the benefits?
Just 2 teaspoons of pesto daily. That's all you need.
2 teaspoons.
But 2 teaspoons of pesto daily. Okay, so I'm going to blend again.
Okay. Alright, good. So if you need to have just 2 teaspoons daily, wow, it means that when you make a batch, it will last you for a while if you don't use all of it in one go on a lovely pasta dish for the whole family, that is.
Okay, we're going to try again. Now I'm getting there.
So if you use a spoon to really bring the greens up.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I guess ideally it would probably be best for the heavier ingredients at the bottom.
When I've done it the other way round, I found it better this way because then the light ingredients didn't mix well enough. Whereas at the moment, I've got this to mix and to start the mix. And even if you add a little bit of water, it'll start to go. When I did it the other way round, I didn't get to mix.
Okay, all right, all right.
Just a little bit of water to it.
Yeah. Or why don't you add a little bit more oil to it?
Okay.
Yeah, you could. I would add a little bit more oil to it.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be good.
All right.
Yeah. And I mean, what can be done is you could always do half the lot of it first, and then the other half after. Yeah. So. Because that bullet is normally quite a powerful piece of equipment. It's looking good.
Yes, it's coming. Just have to be patient. That's all.
No problem. I'll wait. So how can we use this this chelation pesto? So what, do I just take 2 teaspoons every morning, or what, on empty stomach before meals or after meals or with meals? Or can I use this when I bake my potatoes? Or
you can use this. I'm just plugging in to get a bit more energy. You can use this in basically any time throughout the day. I prefer to use it in the morning on my toast, but if you want to use it in the afternoon on your salad, that's okay. Oops. If you want to use it on your salad, that's okay. If you want to use it in your sandwich, that's also okay. So there's many varieties of ways that you can actually use this. Okay. And how do you use it?
So I like to use this with my pastas. So I'd make like a nice pasta, And then I would make some cream sauce, and I would add a dollop of pesto to my pasta with my cream sauce, and throw some vegetables in as well. I still throw in some stuff like some broccoli, piece of cauliflower, maybe some diced up carrots, and or some peppers, and mix that in with my pesto and a little bit of vegan cream. So you can make your own cream from soya or from any beans really, or any nuts or seeds. You could make your own cream, which I often do make my own cream. And I'll mix that in with my pesto, and you put that on my pasta. Or if I'm having like a little dinner party or something like that, I may put my pesto on some bread and make some little sandwiches with tomatoes, maybe a slice of tofu, and some pesto, and possibly even some sun-dried tomatoes, and cut these sandwiches up in bite-sized pieces, and have a nice little cocktail table with my pesto sandwiches on there. Or, as I said before, roasted sweet potatoes, or the normal white potatoes, or when you make like your mashed potatoes, you could also put your pesto with some soup. There's so many ways that you could use your pesto, and quite frankly, just as a dipping sauce.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
Hold on for a moment. Let me blend again. 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, it's working now. Brilliant. So, sometimes technology, while it does as well most of the times, it does have its time when it's just really try to cause hiccups, or it has hiccups. That looks good. The color looks appetizing.
Color. Look at the fabulous color.
Wow, it looks good.
Okay,
And the
so
texture.
Anything green, it's going to be filled with oxygenated
Yes.
power for your body.
That's a powerhouse right there.
Right. So now it's a lovely sauce. I'm going to pour it out so that you can see it.
All right, fantastic. And why do we need to remove heavy metals from our body? Who said we had heavy metals in our body? I mean, how do we get them there?
Well, we don't want them there, but the environment that we live in means that we're going to get them there. All right.
Yeah.
So just in the even in the things that you put on your skin, the creams, the hair shampoos, you have to be so careful, because oftentimes all these metals are not detected or not stated as an ingredient, but they are in these things that we use.
Yes, that's true.
So yes. So
And
no
in
matter
fact,
what, you're going to have metals, heavy metals, even in the washing up liquid, the soaps that you wash your clothes with, it's all in there.
Okay, all right. So our personal care products, your underarm deodorant, some of them has heavy metals.
Certainly, definitely.
Some have aluminum in them. We've got mercury in like teeth filling. We've got mercury in the fish as well, that a lot of people do consume on a daily basis or a weekly basis. So we've got heavy metals, mercury coming there from the fish. We've got it from the pots and pans that we use as well. The aluminum pots, like sometimes pressure cooker that I know most homes have. If it is not stainless steel, you may want to consider it. You may want to think twice about it. Things like the non-stick pots, another means of getting heavy metal into the body. The beautiful, wonderful Jamaican Dutch pot that I used to love cooking in so much. There's some traditional dishes that you don't cook them unless they're being cooked in a Dutch pot, because they just don't taste the same way, right? But yes, they do have, the Dutch pot does have aluminum, and it does actually get into the system. And not only that, with heavy metals, they don't only just get into the normal body tissue, but they can actually pass the blood-brain barrier, and they can get into the brain, and they are a known cause behind things like Alzheimer's, lots of neurological disorders and brain disorders, memory loss, slow responses. So this is just some of the effects of having an overload of heavy metals in the body, right? So we're looking at aluminum, we're looking at cadmium, we're looking at mercury. There's so many of them. Not only that, Juliet, but they're also in some drugs, in some medications, there are heavy metals, yeah. So don't really want to go into that in too much detail, but people can just do their own research to see how they could be getting heavy metals inside their body. And remember, it makes the body tissue toxic, and this will lead to diseases. Once your body becomes toxic, it means you're rotting. You means you're dying. So you need to now clean the body, make it, restore it to health, renew it, remove the toxins from the body, and they can also cross the blood-brain barrier. So that must not be forgotten. And tell me, what else have you got there? Because I just saw a beautiful plate of salad, and I'm not sure.
Okay, so here we go now. So now you've created this awesome metal detox, okay? And so now I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can use it. Now, we've just talked about detoxing, and certainly I'm very much a raw foodist. I love foods in its natural state as God had intended it. And so
That's why you look so young.
Thank you. We're going to use this now. We're going to create
so a beautiful yellow
raw meal. So we have zucchini and we have a spiralizer, and I'm using the spiralizer to create my vegan raw spaghetti.
Ooh,
okay,
spaghetti.
So I've used the yellow spaghetti.
Yellow zucchini spaghetti.
And I'm using a little bit of the green, and that creates that feeling of a spaghetti. And now I'm just going to add my pesto sauce to it and give it a little stir. Mix it up, mix it in. And normally with this, once I've mixed it in, I let it sit for, you know, a little while in the fridge, and then I will then serve this with my salad or whatever I'm going to serve it with. So, you know, just to give it a little time to set in, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in terms of the green.
That looks lovely. That looks lovely.
A beautiful, smooth one that we have made today. So then that's one way. We're keeping it raw, we're detoxing, and so we might decide that we're going to have this, okay?
Good.
And then we've created a raw salad, okay?
That looks lovely.
So on this salad, you've got your peppers, you've got your rocket, you've got your microgreens, so you know they're your superfoods, bit of onions. So again, you know, this is again a real lovely detox meal.
That's a superfood salad.
Superfood salad. And if you wanted to, you could sprinkle some seeds on top, but because we have seeds in here, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to add this to the salad. So that can be added to your salad.
Wonderful.
Right. Now, this one, I love this next one. In the mornings, if I'm not necessarily on a detox, but I'm just using this, the 2 tablespoons a day, I would use this on some toast. So I would toast my bread, and then I would just simply spread it on. Additionally, you talked about using it in a sandwich. And my husband loves his sandwiches. Look how smoothly this
that
spread.
is very
Isn't that
smooth.
beautiful? Oh my goodness.
It's like a beautiful nut butter.
Yeah. So we've made this now. I'm going to add a little bit more. And so you put it on your toast, or you may decide that you want it as a sandwich. All right. So here it is. I've made sandwiches for my husband. So I put that on. And then I call it a super sandwich, where we're putting in, again, all the vegetables. So here's the cucumbers that are going on, and then some lettuce I'm putting in there, and we call it a scuba snack. We've got a bit of...
That's lovely.
There's our scuba duba snack.
Wow.
Or we're going to cover it up and put the sandwich, make it into a sandwich, and there you go. You can't go to the store and buy a sandwich like that.
Yes.
Absolutely full of health.
Full of health. A
Oh,
sandwich
and I
of
forgot
health.
here to just put in some of my microgreens on top there. And there you go.
Powerful.
Super, super, super sandwich that you can take to work. All right. So additionally, as you said, Davina, you know, we in the UK, we love our jacket potatoes. So split that potato open. Oh, one more. I have one more for you. Forgot about this one.
All right.
You may decide if you want to cook food, you may decide that you want to spaghetti. My husband loves spaghetti. So let's see, let me swap this over. So it makes it a bigger bowl. So for his spaghetti, again, I'll put the spaghetti is warm, is cooked. So you've got the raw spaghetti, and you have the spaghetti that your children will love, or anyone else that's on the detox will love.
There's something for everyone.
And that's what I love about this, that you can be eating this, and so can everyone else in the household. So again, we're going to mix this up.
Wow.
And definitely, this is when my husband first had this, it was a hit. You know, I just gave him this with the salad, and he was like, wow, Jules, wow, wow, wow. So
that's
here we
brilliant.
Go. As simple as that.
Have you got a plate? You want to just put that on a plate? Let us see.
Sure.
Just so the audience could see a lovely presentation before we go off.
Sure.
And just to say that if we take like 2 teaspoons of this pesto daily for about 3 weeks, it is purportedly enough to increase the urinary excretion of mercury, lead, and aluminum, thus effectively removing these toxic metals from our bodies. And we can do this cleanse for 3 weeks, and this is tasty food. So, and at least once per year, it is recommended you could do this at least once per year. And we have had colleagues that have actually done this cleanse, and we can see the results. When you look at the foot bottom before and after, you can see a massive difference. So take the challenge and give this a try. It will remove heavy metals from the body. It will help to remove heavy metals from the body. So give this a try. And it is food. Let food be thy medicine. Wow, nice.
And medicine be your food.
Exactly. It looks gorgeous. It's a bit late, but I would have enjoyed some of that. Thank you very much, Juliet.
You're more than welcome.
Have you got anything to say to our audience before we go off?
I just want to say, although it's a demonstration, it's something that I really do have, and although it says to only have it every for 3 consecutive weeks, I definitely have some of this in my fridge. And oftentimes, before I go, yes, we need to show you how to preserve it. All right.
Oh yes,
so,
yes, that's important.
What you need to do is make sure that it is covered, totally covered in the oil. Okay. So I'm going to spread this out.
So just pour some oil over the top, yes.
Just pouring some oil over the top and making sure that it's sitting in the oil. So that this way it will help to preserve this.
And cover it tightly.
And I know that people ask, one of the questions people ask is, how long can you keep it for? And we say, well, you're doing a detox, so you don't want to be making it and leaving it for weeks and weeks, because you're meant to be doing
it's gonna lose its potency.
Twice a week, you know. So really and truly, you're going to make it. It does keep for about 2 weeks, especially once you take it. Make sure that it's covered back with the oil. But if you're taking 2 teaspoons a day, then really and truly, this isn't going to last you for the 3 weeks. You're going to have to make another pot in between. So you probably need about, to make what I've just shown you, you probably need to make about 2 pots for that period of time, okay? But if you want to enjoy it, because when you taste it, you're going to say, I love it. So you can have it on your salad. You can have a good portion on your salad. And in my case, I as you can see, you know, I've had to use a good portion to mix in with the spaghetti. All right. So don't be afraid to use a little bit more if you need it, because you're going to eat it for enjoyment. So it's not just about a medicine, it's about eating for
Enjoy your
enjoyment
food.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And plate it so your food looks nice, because you eat with your eyes. All right.
Exactly.
So enjoy your food, plate it and sit and enjoy. So let us know how you get on. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Again.
welcome.
And if anyone wants to know more about the Natural Remedies Kitchen, you can email us at info@thenaturalremedieskitchen.com, or you can WhatsApp us on +44 788 073. You can also find us on www.thenaturalremedieskitchen.com. Thank you very much, and blessings as you go on your health journey. Let food be thy medicine.
And medicine be thy food.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have now come to the end of our week-long encounter with Christ. Under the banner, the gates of hell shall not prevail. To our main speaker, Pastor Sherry, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May God continue to bless and keep you as you work effortlessly in his vineyard. To all those women that have contributed towards this program, I would like to say thank you. To my team, thank you for your prayers and thank you for your support and your contribution to this event. Sisters, I would like to leave these words with you. All your anxieties, all your cares, bring them to the mercy seat and leave them there. The gates of hell cannot prevail when we are in Christ.
I'm just glad to be with Jesus one more day, one more day. I'm just glad to be with Jesus one more day. Yeah, I'm just glad to be with Jesus one more day, one more day.